Namaste, Namo Narayan, and welcome everybody. My name's David Little, Swami Manamurti Saraswati, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the formula that I published the other day on academia.edu, scientific formula for advanced astral physics. So I just wanted to come straight out at the beginning of this talk and just let everyone know that I am no scientist or mathematician or anything like that. I've got very basic understanding of science and also mathematics, having not even finished high school. Like, I finished school at year 10, not even 16. I was 15 years and 9 months when I finished high school because my parents split up, so I won't go into all that. But just wanted to let everyone know I didn't have that sort of education that some lucky people that, could go on, finish their high school and go to university. I actually did go to university later on in life, in my 40s, but I tell you, it was a struggle earlier on. Through having to leave school early. But anyway, this talk is on advanced astral physics and how it's materialized in my life and where do we go from here. But this talk is might go for an hour, so we'll get going. I just wanted to have the title up there of this talk, advanced astral physics, so I'll take that off share now and pop that back up later on. What I'm going to do now is open this other document and share that. So this is how these formulas came to me, right? So I didn't read these in a textbook or at any university or anything like that, right? So the other week, couple of weeks ago, I was awake, alert in my astral dream, right? So I was reading what looked like a film slide, like a microfilm, a slide in my dream, like in my third eye. Astrally, I was reading it. I wasn't fully awake. I was still in my dream. It was 9:50 p.m. And I wrote it down. As soon as I saw what I was reading, it alerted me, and I woke up straight away. And I wrote down what I saw. It is a field end collapsing. So that's what I saw written on this film. And that was at the end of a long film, like a microfilm. That was the final one at the end. And I've seen these things before, like in the astral. It's like some sort of film that you're seeing. And anyway, it's a field end collapsing. Then I wrote it down immediately, what was in my mind, flowing through my mind, what thoughts were flowing through my mind. L equals CT plus S. So that's the recital. L equals layer, absorption or dissolution, and C equals collapsing. So that might be a bit like quantum mechanics, particles changing into waves, I'm not sure, but collapsing. T, time, physical body, conscious mind, this dimension. S space subconscious and unconscious mind, astral body, causal body, plus all dimensions above the physical body, sorry, the physical dimension. So I've received 2 information drops or downloads so far to streamline the understanding in this modern era about really in-depth yoga and what yogic science, how it can work in with science to bring forth a new understanding. So these are the 2 downloads that I received. The first one was back in 2020, y equals mT plus s. I made a video about that 3 years after I received it, 3rd of July 2023. So I made a live stream video, so it's on my YouTube channel and also on Facebook. And this one is the one I received a couple of weeks ago on the 8th of the 8th. L equals C, T plus S. And so you can see down here, okay, so what I've written here, what a real master of yoga can do simultaneously. So they can enter an expanded consciousness, right? Expansion and contraction. Expansion of consciousness to experience all dimensions, and also layer dissolution of everything into the absolute. And I'm not sure what happens in that experience, what's happening on a scientific level, physics level, but the it's absolute silence, nothing to do with the mind, it's beyond the mind. But when you come back from that experience of Laya, and I'll talk a bit more about that later on, because it's got to do with Kriya Yoga and the sadhana of Laya Yoga. But there are some real yogis like Babaji, Mahavatar Babaji, and Swami Satchidananda, who is also one of my gurus, and many other Himalayan yogi gurus who investigate all these things, astral capabilities, causal body capabilities, scientifically. So they're real scientists, really. So Himalayan yogis, not the ones you see, but the ones that are hidden away doing their sadhanas. So I'll also mention that I was first heard the words advanced astrophysics when I was in Sweden with Swami Janakananda. I was doing a 3-month Kriya Yoga retreat. So that was from January till April in 2011. So I've actually got my diary here, 2011 diary that I took with me. And on in the 3rd week of the retreat, I woke up at 12:45, just past midnight, and I'm reading it straight from my diary. I had an amazing dream. I was talking to Jeff, that's my youngest brother, and family, and I said I was thinking of announcing that I am developing a blueprint for advanced astrophysics. I told him that people have so much undeveloped power in them, things that can be done when the astral body and the psyche are developed, and this needs to be released slowly. So that's from my diary, spiritual diary. So I've had spiritual diary since 1998, and this is one of the ways you can connect with from the conscious into the subconscious, unconscious, and learn a lot. So it's a way of helping you master the mind or learn a lot about the mind. So part 1, that was received 11th of the 11th, 2020. This is the one I made the video about last year. Y equals mt plus s. I was driving my car. So I made a whole video about that, so I won't talk about that, right? So I was awake, not asleep in the astral, but I was awake, and I received a download from Babaji or my higher self about that. So anyone can look at that. I've been talking a lot about it over the last 12 months. Part 2, 8th to the 8th, 24, that's what I'm talking about. 9:50 p.m. I woke up, wrote down about layer and collapsing. So what I've written here, a message for the youth of the world in particular about the potential of Babaji's Kriya Yoga. So yeah, we'll talk a bit more about Kriya Yoga in a little while, and I'll actually pull up the book that I wrote on Kriya Yoga, and we'll have a look through that, because I've written a lot of things about Kriya Yoga and layer yoga. And a message for the scientists that want to know more about the science of yoga in a language that they can easily comprehend. So the scientists don't want to read yoga sutras and try to work out what these sutras mean. So I'm giving them a formula that they can follow. Because according to the seers of the Kundalini Research Project, which I made a video about a couple of weeks ago, the people that were behind that, Gopi Krishna and Pandit Gopi Krishna and Dr. Karan Singh, they were trying to bring, they were saying in that document that I spoke about, they were saying that they want science to bring forward a new science of spirituality, right? So what I'm doing now is trying to help them and also other people from the yoga side. So I'm trying to help them build the bridge between the scientific mind into the yogic science and build the bridge together. So I've written here, all this has to be then become experiential. So it's more than a theory. It has to become experiential for full understanding, and we'll get through that in a little bit. First comes the thought via transmission, which I received those downloads. That's transmission. We'll talk about that in a little while. Then ultimate learning, then the ultimate learning unfolds via Kundalini and the absolute, which is then within reach. You can see it, touch it, smell it, hear it, taste it, utilizing every psychic and spiritual gift or sense organ at your disposal. The secrets have their roots in the physical body. So this is what I was talking about. We work on the physical body, which is multidimensional. Kundalini wakes up. That's the seat of the causal body is in Muladhara chakra. So it's in the physical body. So that can be researched. So what I'm talking about there is I think I'll just take that off share now. I've finished that document. The what I spoke about, I think it was back in January, I did a video on the astral body and astral traveling. So I mentioned then about the t-shirt that I'm wearing now, right? So in Shiva metaphysics, the astral body is the linga. The linga looks like a tombstone, right? Shiva linga. And the serpent represents time, Mahakal, the great time, right? And the astral body is the linga. So we finish with that. Now I'll bring back up the document. 1 sec. Okay, so this is what I submitted the other day, because once I got that second drop, I thought I better just put this together. And well, I just remembered that dream back in 2011. So I'm advancing that theory of advanced astrophysics, which I was alerted to from my unconscious mind, or somebody transmitted that into me. So I've been learning a lot about transmission over the years, and through my gurus, because what I mentioned before about this astral body, right? So in that talk on the astral body back in January, I mentioned Swami Satchidananda's talk, or his teachings on Kriya Yoga. Before Kriya Yoga is taught the chakra sadhana course. And the first sadhana for the chakras in Swamiji's system begins with Agnya chakra, the third eye, right? So third eye, Agnya chakra. So when Agnya is awake, there is connection with your inner guru inside you. So inside you, the guru becomes a living entity inside you. So there's communication, telepathic communication inside, and also outside of you. So with people, telepathy. So clairvoyance, telepathy, clairaudience, all those psychic and spiritual gifts become a reality. Just wanted to mention that, so I'm going further. So that's who I am, David G. Little, care of Satcham Yoga Centre. Well, it is a registered business, my business. I actually registered that first in 1998. So I've re-registered it and starting teaching after I come back from India next April. So that's my PO box for contact details. If anyone wants to write to me, PO box 431 Tuncurry, New South Wales, Australia. Correspondence monamurti@gmail.com. And right, and down the bottom there, that's the logo I've registered there. That was the official KRP logo, Kundalini Research Project logo, and I registered it in 2020 with IP Australia, intellectual property, and also Satcham Yoga. So they're both registered through me. So these are the three formulas that I've put through, published on Monday. Y equals MT plus S, yoga equals mastery of time and space. And I want to go right into that, what that means. That's a great deal. And the physical body, conscious mind, and this dimension. Right. So we've got layer collapsing. So very similar there, see? T plus S, mastery, collapsing. And then third formula, Z equals C backslash M. So we've got C and M above, backslash M, T plus S. So here's the recital. Y equals yoga, M mastery, T time, physical body, the conscious mind, and this dimension. S equals space, the astral body, the subconscious mind, and the causal body, So differentiating astral body and causal body, so they're vastly different. And after the causal body, the unconscious mind and all dimensions above the physical. Layer, recital, L equals layer. So everybody wants to now look up, get curious about, stay curious and be curious about layer. Everyone's heard about expansion of consciousness. So now it's time to start looking at the dissolution. Not many people talk about layer or teach it or do the sadhana. So we've got layer, C is for collapsing, time, physical body, as I mentioned, exactly the same. Conscious mind in this dimension, S for space, astral body, subconscious mind, and the causal body, unconscious mind, in all dimensions above the physical. Z. This is the important one. Z equals C backslash M T plus S. Recitals. By merging the two formulas, Y equals M T plus S and L equals C T plus S, I've created a new third formula that serves as an expression of advanced astral physics, where Z represents a new state of being or consciousness achieved through both transformational collapse and mastery. So where I've written there, I've put in uppercase, a new state of being or consciousness. So anyone who's been through this sadhana and experienced layer and expansion and is learning to master that, they're on the path of enlightenment, right? And a higher level of development of the human being and consciousness. I'll read through this. L equals C T plus S. With the context of the equation L equals CT plus S alone, it can be interpreted as a metaphysical or a philosophical model reflecting aspects of spiritual and existential beliefs. Here is a detailed breakdown. L, layer or absorption slash dissolution. In philosophical or spiritual context, layer refers to a state of deep meditation, absorption, or dissolution, where the individual self merges with the universal self or consciousness. C, collapsing. This symbolizes the process or the mechanism by which time and space are unified or transcended, leading to states like enlightenment, transcendence, or dissolution of boundaries between the self and the universe. T, time represents the temporal aspect concerning the physical body, the conscious mind, and the experiences within this physical dimension. It relates to the linear progression of events and experiences that shape earthly existence. S, space, refers to the spatial or multidimensional aspect that includes the subconscious and unconscious mind, the astral and causal bodies, and all dimensions above the physical. This signifies realms and states of being beyond ordinary perception. In this model, layer, as a result of collapsing time and space, suggests a process where the interplay of both temporal and spatial aspects of existence leads to a higher state of consciousness or unity. So everyone talks about unity. So this is like the evolution of consciousness and real unity. This is an allegory of meditation, spiritual practice, or mystical experiences where individual consciousness expands or dissolves into a broader, more universal awareness. The concept of quantum consciousness is a fascinating frontier where science and spirituality sometimes intersect. The idea suggests that quantum mechanics could play a role in the workings of consciousness, potentially providing explanations for aspects of human awareness that are not yet fully understood. So if you go through those sadhanas, you'll start understanding. While the formula uses metaphysical terms to express a spiritual concept, it symbolizes principles that resonate with themes found in quantum consciousness theory. The connections are: 1. Transcendence of time and space. In both spiritual teachings and quantum theories, the idea of transcending ordinary time and space is common. Quantum mechanics often defies classical notions of time and space, much like spiritual experiences that are said to transcend physical reality. 2. Unity of interconnections. Quantum theories like entanglement suggest a fundamental interconnectedness of the universe, echoing spiritual teachings about the interconnected nature of all things, as symbolized by layer or dissolution of the self into a greater whole. 3. Non-locality and higher dimensions. Quantum physics explores the concept of non-locality, where particles are connected across distances, which metaphorically aligns with spiritual ideas of higher dimensions and states of consciousness beyond the physical realm. So I'll just stop there for a second. I'm just going to bring up this book, The Non-Local Mind in a Holographic Universe, written by my good friend, Dr. Richard Alan Miller. All right, Dr. Ram or Rick. He's the author of this book. He's a polymath and a genius, and a physicist and a biophysicist and a herbalist. Get your hands on this book, Dr. Richard Alan Miller. So I'll get back to where I was up to, point 3, non-locality and high dimension. So I read that one. Point 4, the role of the observer. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics emphasize the role of consciousness or observation in determining the state of a quantum system, paralleling spiritual beliefs in the power of consciousness to shape reality. Although quantum consciousness is a highly speculative and controversial area within science, and many physicists are skeptical of its claims as a metaphor or philosophical framework, there can be a rich dialogue between these spiritual and scientific ideas. Although astrophysics is more aligned with metaphysical and esoteric traditions than with mainstream science, it is, however, very intriguing to consider how spiritual equations or concepts could serve as a framework or symbolic representations in such a context. Given the components of the equation L equals C T plus S and the meanings I have provided, here's how it should now be hypothesized as a formula for advanced astral physics. 1. Unified interaction of time and space. The combination of T and space in the equation suggests a holistic view of reality. In advanced astral or metaphysical theories, understanding the interplay between different planes of existence might be the key. 2. Mechanism of transcendence or transition. The coefficient C collapsing could represent the force or process through which this transition or interaction happens, akin to how physical equations often involve constants or coefficients that denote interaction strength. 3. The goal of layer or transformation. The goal of layer L represents absorption or dissolution, and the ultimate goal of many spiritual practices, achieving a state of unity or enlightenment in capital letters. In an astrophysics framework, this symbolizes the transformation or the evolution of consciousness. While such a formula might not yet have empirical support, so I'm saying yet, and I've bolded that word yet, have empirical support or validation in the way of a scientific physical formula would, it's a profound symbolic expression of certain spiritual ideas. It speaks to the integration and transcendence of different states of being, reflective of both ancient wisdom and contemporary explorations in spirituality. Both formulas that I am presenting explore the interplay of core existential elements and could be seen as symbolic representations of spiritual or metaphysical truths. L equals CT plus S. As discussed, this formula emphasizes absorption or dissolution, facilitated by the collapsing of time and space, leading towards unity or transcendence. Y equals mt plus S. So I spoke a lot about this formula a year ago. This equation follows a similar structure but potentially opens the way for interpretation in a parallel or complementary manner. Why yoga in this context? Yoga represents the union or the integration of different aspects of being, which is a core purpose of yoga practices, connecting the physical and spiritual, conscious and unconscious. M, mastery. Mastery implies attaining a high level of skill and understanding. In spiritual terms, this mastery means mastery over oneself, involving self-discipline, awareness and enlightenment, mastery over oneself. So you might know that, but actually that's the literal meaning of the word Swami. So master of the self, or someone that's on the way to mastery of the self. Okay, so I won't get into that, but T equals time, physical body, conscious mind. This denotes the temporal and tangible aspects of existence. It's about our immediate awareness and experiences within the physical realm and what we perceive in our daily lives. S, space, astral and causal bodies, subconscious and unconscious mind, plus all dimensions above the physical. Space here includes a vast array of subtle and transcendental dimensions. It covers not just the physical space, but also the inner landscapes of the mind and existence beyond the material world. The equation y equals m t plus s can be integrated as a formula for achieving yoga, union or integration through mastery of both time and the space aspects of existence. It emphasizes the holistic approach to spiritual growth, where mastery enables the synthesis and harmony of our conscious experiences with our deeper spiritual and subconscious dimensions. This structural model provides a framework to understand how different levels of existence can be integrated through ongoing practice and mastery aligning with many traditional spiritual teachings about the path of enlightenment. So here we are, Z equals C backslash M T plus S, combining both formulas to create a unified framework must now be considered. I've put must now be considered a metaphorical and a theoretical model for advanced astral physics. Astral, not astro. So someone made a mistake this morning and said astrophysics. No, this is astral. Especially within the context of spiritual and metaphysical exploration. Here's how they might come together to form a comprehensive formula. 1. Unified perspective. Both formulas highlight the interplay between time, T, and S, space, suggesting that understanding these dimensions is crucial for the astral or spiritual journey. This indicates a foundation for any theory in this context, focusing on the existential elements that govern existence. 2. Transformative processes. L equals CT plus S emphasizes the collapse or the transformation that leads to a state of layer, absorption, or dissolution, pointing towards enlightenment or unity. Y equals MT plus S focuses on yoga as the pathway to achieving mastery over the aspects of reality embodied in time and space, leading to a higher state of consciousness. 3. Combination for higher understanding. By merging these ideas, I have created a new formula that serves as an expression of advanced astral physics, as stated previously on page 2. Z equals C backslash M T plus S, where Z represents a new state of being or consciousness achieved through both transformational collapse and mastery. So I'm talking about an upgrade, not only an upgrade in intelligence. The brain, obviously, is the receptacle of spiritual wisdom, or I don't know what it is. Something in the DNA gets awakened in that 95% that haven't been awakened yet. But when Kundalini and the chakras light up, I'm suggesting that something's also going on in that part of the DNA. And it's contributing to a new state of being or consciousness achieved through both transformational collapse and mastery. So that's why a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that, there's plenty of star children out there with people that have got, in my opinion, awakened chakras and specifically Kundalini, and differentiating the difference between chakra awakening and Kundalini, because it's very different. Sushumna and Kundalini. Don't forget that. Kriya yogis, Kundalini yogis, lay yogis, they know about Sushumna and Kundalini. Right, so here we go. Number 4, interrelating forces. This unified model represents a dynamic interaction between the forces of transformation, C, and mastery, showcasing how working with both can lead to advanced understanding and experience of astral and causal dimensions. So I mentioned these dreams, how things come through transmission from the higher mind, or spirits or higher entities transmitting down into the astral of the physical, the astral then downloading into the physical brain, right? So that's how it happens, in case you didn't know. So point 5, applications in spiritual practice. That is very important. As a comprehensive framework, this formula should now serve as a guide for spiritual practitioners. It suggests that by mastering both the physical and astral aspects of reality, individuals can engage in profound transformations that lead to integrated experiences of existence. So you want to make the most of your incarnation, do something towards perfecting those formulas experientially. Ultimately, while these formulas represent more philosophical and metaphysical concepts than empirical scientific principles, they offer a rich tapestry of ideas for exploring the intersections of consciousness, spirituality, and existence. Here's the last page. So I've made this as brief as I could. Testing the formulas and the hypothesis. Right. Whilst the formulas and the hypothesis can be tested individually by advanced yogis, as yoga is an ancient, time-tested, deep practice which has existed for millenniums. I mean, thousands of years. It is proposed by me that to be widely accepted scientifically, my three formulas for advanced astral physics be put to the test within a scientific framework by conducting the proposed Kundalini Research Project, which I renamed in my last video Babaji's Kundalini Research Project, because Babaji's been downloading this information into me. Within the framework by conducting the proposed Babaji's Kundalini Research Project, which has been talked about in India since 1970, when Pandit Gopi Krishna, who was an enlightened human being, first discussed the need of conducting this large-scale scientific research project on Kundalini Yoga. So I made a few typing errors in the draft that I uploaded. So I fixed up those typos in this document, which it'll also be uploaded later on, but there's not a need for it yet. But for an introduction to this proposed cutting-edge scientific research project, please see my recent videos on my YouTube channel, Mona Murthy, and my Facebook page, Swami Mona Murthy Saraswati, for more information on this project. That was a video I did on 18th of August about the Kundalini Research Project, or Babaji's Kundalini Research Project, 18th of August. So you'll find that on my Facebook or YouTube. Here you will gain a deeper insight into the proposed project and into our advanced cutting-edge scientific research protocol. So that is real cutting edge. So I've even spoke about the amendment, checking the DNA via the X31 project. So that's part of the protocol now, which is to be adopted when the futuristic Babaji's Kundalini Research Project is eventually conducted. Yours sincerely, David G. Little, Swami Mona Murthy Saraswati, 26th of August. That's when I uploaded it. That's the end of this document. I'll take that off share. Right. So I quickly went through that document. It was only 11 pages, and a little bit on those three experiences before that, how they arrived. So now, I don't know what shaped my mind so that I could receive that information. Over the years, I've done a lot of yoga, and for the last 40 plus years, and without talking too much about myself, but the and I've had some great teachers, gurus, and they're the best in my opinion. So I have to be grateful for that. But I read, I I wrote a couple of books, which what we're talking about tonight, um, to get a greater understanding, it would be. Hang on, I'll take this page off. Sorry, I opened the wrong document. One sec. 1 second. What I'm going to do now is just give the viewers a bit of a sneak peek, or some key areas that I want to talk about in my second book that I wrote in 2020, which is 4 years ago, which I'm hoping to publish. And so obviously a lot of this will change but what I want to talk about is advanced astrophysics. And 1 second, what have we got here? Let's take this mark up. Right. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, I wanted to well, when I did that talk about Babaji 2 videos ago, I talked about my gurus. So that's my gurus there. And this is the contents page. The book's divided into first section on Kriya Yoga. Also includes some information here on Laya Yoga, and the two well-known Kriya Yoga systems in the world today, and how some of these Kriyas were received by me through spiritual transmission astrally. So my teachers have been teaching me astrally. So I want to, and this is how these formulas were received for this advanced astrophysics. So I wanted to just let people know, once I publish this book, if you're interested, get your hands on this book, because I'm going to publish a lot of things in this book about Kriya Yoga, Laya Yoga, and everything that you really need to know as far as the written word can go. And so you got to remember, this is information, it's not initiation. So there's big difference, but this is as far as the written word can go. Here's my Sankalpa from Swami Satchidananda. Mona Murti, you can continue to practice Kriya Yoga if you wish, as it is better than not practicing any sadhana at all. The most important thing for you to do is just to be innocent. So that was 1988. So the main traditions of Kriya Yoga, these are all my own notes that I've put in here that comes from Babaji, right? So the two streams, there he must say, Swami Shivananda. two streams of Kriya Yoga that have descended from Babaji. Swami Satchidananda's Tantric Kriya Yoga system. And we're just going to flick through all this. There's a lot of practices. I'm looking for a publisher now, so I don't know. I did read somewhere that Indian Yoga Association publishes books, so maybe they'll be interested. That'd be great. If they're interested, they can get in contact with me. So there's a lot in this book, and it's a lot of different practices. So this is called the Kriya Yoga Workbook. So this is all practical, right? So these are all techniques. It's not theory, right? So the theory part is in the first book. This is all practice, sadhana, Tantric Kriya Yoga. Kundalini Kriyas, the sadhana, all the Kriyas. I'll start to talk about here Kundalini Kriyas of Kriya and Laya Yoga. All right, so I'm just flicking through some of these things. I don't want to bore everyone too much. They mightn't be here for the yoga. They might be here for the science, but side of things. But I'm just talking about what I've done to had some effects on my understanding, and yoga really opens up your mind, and a lot of other things. Confidence, like I mentioned before. I left school really young. I didn't really apply my mind brain until I went to India in 1995, 30 years ago. And, I applied my brain for the first time since leaving school. I didn't really apply it in school as well, but it gave me a lot of confidence. So I went on and learned a lot of things, put myself into uni, did a few things, and, became a good manager later on, even though I had a bad start in life. I made up for it. So I've made a lot of comments in here. I've commented a lot. So these notes that I've written on, all the different kriyas, and my additional notes from my 40 odd years of practice. So they're all in here. Let's get down a bit further, down. I just wanted to flick through this a bit. I'll scroll down a bit. Okay, here we are. So I finished the first one, right, on the kriyas. I'll talk about Nag Devata here. Yeah. So I've met some beings not of this dimension. Nag Devata being one. As Laya Yoga via pranayama. So Swami Satchidananda, in all of his teachings in his books, he only spoke about Laya Yoga twice in two different satsangs, which were recorded. So I've got some information here, and the sadhanas. So I might say here, note. Oh, this is personal stuff. I'll put it in. Note, after Swami Satchidananda, who wrote those satsangs on my guru, on Laya Yoga, After Swamiji left his body, Mahasamadhi, in December 2009, I commenced intensely practicing these Laya Yoga pranayama sadhanas until one day I had an intense awakening where I felt my whole brain was awakening at the same time, like, like it became so intense that I literally began to hear hundreds or thousands of people's voices. So some of you might have heard a voice speaking to you in your dream or something. Well, I wasn't asleep. I was awake in my yoga room practicing pranayama, these pranayamas, and I started hearing lots and lots of voices talking to me. I don't know if they're coming from the spirit world, and I was connecting with them or they're downloading into me. So, I felt that the whole of my Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra, and Sushumna, where the Kundalini goes, through the spinal cord, was alight with light inside. So, I've just got a little warning there. This is just a psychic warning that unless you're in the right yogic environment, as Swami Satyananda was in seclusion in Gangotri when he was practicing those sadhanas in the Himalayas, you should not attempt this sadhana as I did. And I was very disciplined and very experienced in pranayama. So, right, what have I written here? Oh, Swamiji has said something here about, well, on Laya Yoga, expansion is rapid and the mind attains quick metamorphosis. Therefore, although the path of pranayama is a jet set method, right? Kundalini explodes, not just wakes up a little bit, explosion, right? It's a dramatic and considered to be it's considered to be very difficult that not everybody cannot manage, right? So you need to be close to a guru who knows what they're doing. This sadhana is much more intense. I wrote this. This sadhana is much more intense than Kriya Yoga, dear friends. So the information above I have shared with you on Laya Yoga via pranayama is intended for sincere yoga practitioners only who are contemplating summiting. So summiting the pinnacle, Mount Everest, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so Shri Bindu, my Kriya Yoga teacher. So Shri Bindu's tradition, so I've written a bit about Shri Bindu's tradition here. And later on I do more. Shri Bindu talks about how he's teaching. So here's my initiation paper that I received from Shri Bindu. So you'll notice up here, Kriya Yoga initiation, Hatha Raja Laya. So I want to emphasize Laya. So these yogis in this tradition, they perfect Laya. Right? So the masters on this tradition, the ones that I've read about and a few that I've met, they master Laya, the state of Laya. So you see my formula on Laya, the masters of Laya. Right? So Lahiri Masai, he was a master. Babaji is a master. And there's been numerous masters of that tradition. All right? Not only of the expansion, but also of the dissolution, the Laya. Very important. Kriya Pranayama. So I'm just talking a little bit. This is about it. So I'm talking about pranayama. Kriya number 2, Kriya Pranayam. And this is a calculator that I had for myself while I was learning pranayama. So you can see how much I was doing here. I just put it in here. 1.92 hours per day, 48 seconds per breath. inhalation and exhalation. I was doing 24-second. So Shai Bindu recommended 22, but I was using 24 at this time that I made this calculator. So 144 rounds, how many seconds, how many minutes, how many hours. So I was doing a lot of pranayama. Navi Kriya, Yoni Mudra, Mahamudra. Right, so I've got some more information here. Some of my photos from Bodh Gaya. And I also spoke about these the other day when I was talking about Shai Bindu on the Babaji video. This is all about visiting Shai Bindu and the Hirimase's house and Babaji, the great Babaji. People with insight receive knowledge. Chapter 4. Nikola Tesla. He's a Pleiadian. So I've got information through channelers through people that I've been connecting with through a channeler about Nikola Tesla. So he was a great, you might say, yogi. I think he also met Swami Vivekananda. And see what I've got here? Mr. Tesla was a prolific inventor who stated in 1928 interview that his proudest achievement was the invention of the rotating magnetic field. So what are we doing when we're doing Kriya Yoga? Right? Rotating magnetic field. So we're talking about fields, right? And he commented, Nikola Tesla commented that his invention on the rotating magnetic field, he said he commented it will last as long as science itself. So he was a secret yogi for sure. So I've gone on a lot more about this rotational energy. I'm talking about Babaji's Kriya of the letters, which I write about in this book. We'll get there in a little while. And the Vasudeva mantra, rotational magnetic field in the prana. So I've written another hypothesis here for Kriya yogis: microscopic orbit, Taoism, and macrocosmic orbits. Tibetan prayer wheels, I've talked about that. Circumambulation around holy sites, particularly Mount Kailash, that's quite interesting. It's an energy site, Mount Kailash, which is a sphatic crystal. So I won't get into all of this. Indus Valley. Oh, here's another one I got in a dream. Question: what is the graviton? So physicists they're asking themselves that question: what is a graviton? But I got this information or spoken to me about graviton. So obviously there's some spirits up there that used to be physicists. They're talking to me. So I've talked to many spirits in the spirit world when I'm astral, in the astral body. Sushumna Nadi. So this is in Kundalini. This is something I wrote years ago. Kriya Yoga and the Inner Life. Something I wrote years ago. Kriya Yoga, Inner Life, Science, Dermatones, Arahan, and Conception Vessel and Governor Vessel. Dr. Modiyama. So I've got a lot of stuff in here that people would never have read before. in my book, because I did a lot of research. You know, I'm a pretty deep researcher and learner. So there, yoga nidra rationale. So I've got the rationale. So I'm talking about the rationale of practicing yoga nidra with Kriya yoga. I've got a rationale there, questions, answers. So through this, so Swami Satyananda's quotes on Kriya yoga. It is the Kriya yoga is the ultimate practice in Tantra. Kriya yoga is a rite, a ceremony, a method, a sadhana. So and now I've got some quotes from the Hirima say, if one stays tranquil in Brahma, acquiring the 10 qualities, then he attains sannyas, the renunciated state. So this is from Lahiri Say himself, right? The greatest householder of the modern era, talking about sannyas, right? He then attains sannyas. If one stays tranquil in Brahma, acquiring the 10 qualities, he attains sannyas, the renunciated state. So this is from Lahiri Say's commentary on the ancient Manu Sangita as told by sage Brighu. Yoga of Light, this is more that I've written. The Quest, facing experiences. Well, anyone that's into Kundalini has got to face experiences, many of them alone. So this is good information for somebody. Like I've had to face a lot of my stuff alone. So I'm giving my tips, right throughout. So these are some rare photos that my guru, Swami Ananda Kapila, sent me years and years and years ago. These weren't from BR School of Yoga. This is from Swami Ananda Kapila, very senior Swami, gave them to Swamiji to give to me. These photos are of Swami Satyananda. Talk about Jesus. A couple of my experiences with Jesus. Advaita philosophy, Adi Shankaracharya. Got an article there. Mahavatar Babaji, the greatest spiritual master. Okay. Babaji, I just did a video on Babaji. Barbara White Mandela. So that's also up on that video I did about Babaji. But I also thought that I'd bring this picture up. Just I'm only holding it in my hand. I'm not bringing it up on the screen, so people can look. If people want to know about the mathematics and physics in these dimensions, look here. So it was described in 1993 by that mandala, Kundalini mandala, that was received by Barbara from her mind that Babaji told her about. So, okay, so Barbara. And I've talked about this stuff. Paula Baba, Babaji's Kriya Awakening of the letters. So, what letters are we talking about? So, well, there's letters in this Kriya and the mantra. There's letters in that mantra, but there's also letters in the DNA. So I've been talking a lot about this and listening to a lot about this with my friend Dr. Max Rampel. So Max, this could be the letters, the Kriya for awakening of the letters in the DNA, the 95% part of the DNA. Pilot Baba, Kripacharya, talked about Kripacharya, Pilot Baba, Yogi Narayanan, Babaji's Tibetan Siddha Ashram location, talked about that. These diagrams, which Yogi Narayanan gave me. Okay, here's the diagram. Shambhala, Gyanganj, the Tibetan Siddha Ashram, right. That's like I said, everything's in this book. There's Yogi Narayanan, a real yogi, an amazing yogi. And he transmitted some amazing stuff into me. And, when I met him, Yogi Narayanan, as well as initiating me, he wanted me to stay with him in his ashram for 10 years and to learn everything. And I couldn't. And I mentioned that in those videos that I posted about who influenced me, my yoga teachers over the years. So this was in the second video I made about that, Yogi Narayanan. So this is, I mentioned Dr. Syed Burjish Khurshid, who his disciples say was the last incarnation of Mahavatar Babaji. And I'll mention again, as I did in that video, that it was this Babaji that initiated me astrally, came inside of me and taught me Babaji's Kriya, Awakening of the Letters. There's Barbara's Mandala, another chapter finished. Okay, new Kriyas revealed via spiritual transmission. So the Satyam Yoga, so I've registered this system. I registered the name Satyam Yoga in Australia, Kriya Yoga system. So Babaji's told me that the Satyam Yoga Kriyas are adhyatmic Kriyas. So I just wanted to emphasize that, adhyatmic Kriyas. Babaji's told me, Satyam Yoga. So no matter, Babaji's told me so many things. So Babaji's told me, he gave me a warning about red herrings. So I've had a few red herrings thrown at me lately. But I had a warning from Babaji or my higher mind about how to identify. And, I don't want any more distractions in my life. I'm on the path of following my connection. Those adhyatmic kriyas. I don't want to be a guru. I don't want to be a movie star or anything like that. Like I've had these things offered to me, but I want to just be a yoga teacher, small-time yoga teacher, and just teach my kriyas which have been taught to me, especially the astral ones, and especially that one there, Babaji's Kriya of the Letters. So I'm telling you that when you start developing, people want to know about you. And a lot of it, if you're already awake internally, you'll know that the red herring or Maya, the illusion, right? So you'll be aware about Maya and the illusion. So I've been made aware through my higher mind over the last few years. So I just want to connect with my Atma and Paramatma or Param Shiva or Brahma. So I know the connection, and this is one of my astrally taught Kriyas, Devi Shakti Kriya. This is all technique. So I'm not keeping everything to myself. Like a lot of teachers keep everything to themselves, and people have to run to them for and beg for initiation, right? So I'm publishing mine, right? So people can also I can also initiate people, but I'm also giving away in my secrets inside my book on Kriya Yoga. I'm not taking everything to the tombstone. Devi Shakti Kriya, that's me up at uh, Kedarnath in 2012, up at the Samadhi Thal, where Adi Shankaracharya, where his statue is, and where he was last seen alive a couple of thousand years ago at Kedarnath. So as a Saraswati, I'm Swami Monamurti Saraswati, so he's the head of our, not only our lineage, but he codified the Dasnami order, the 10 orders of sannyas in India, Saraswati being just one of them. So I went up there just to be at Kedarnath, and a lot of things happened up there, believe me. So yeah, it's so Kedarnath's at a height of 3,583 meters above sea level, 11,755 feet. So that's where I went. Some info here about astral body network in our body. So this is what people have to get their head around. Astral body, you got to do work on the physical body, then you got to work on the astral body. So I've been doing a big overhaul over the last few years in the astral body. So now I'm working on the higher part of my formula, right? So T plus S. So T is physical, S is astral and causal. So I've been working on the astral, so now I'm working with the causal, astral causal, the higher astral and causal. That's my goal over the next 10 years, plus do a little bit of teaching. So Devi Shakti Kriya, Surya Kriya, Enki Kriya, Babaji's Kriya, Awakening of the Letters. So 3 of these 4 Kriyas were received via direct astral transmission, spiritual transmission. So I mentioned that in the previous videos. What's the best ideal preparation? Chakra sadhana course, which I was meant to be teaching now, but because of the yoga website drama, I had to delay until next year. Courses, okay, Surya Kriya. This is a Kriya I was initiated into by one of my teachers and gurus, Ajay Patel. Here he is here from Madhya Pradesh. There's Ajay there. This is in 2013. And I went out to visit Ajay. There's Ajay at the Kumbh Mela when he was a guest there. I couldn't attend the Kumbh Mela. I was invited to go to the Kumbh Mela, to this conference. You'll see Devraha Baba there. Devraha Baba, the guru of Dr. Ram Naresh Tripathaji, who's no longer with us. And that's my friend Beena, Dr. Beena Sharma. So Beena and Dr. Tripathi were the organisers of this conference at the Mahakumbh Mela. And Ajay, I sent Ajay, I couldn't go. I've already been to India twice in 2012. I couldn't go to this one in February 2013. So I asked Ajay to go in my place, and he was glad he went, and I'm sure he turned a lot of heads. He was really amazing. He showed some of his psychic and spiritual powers there at that conference. Here's Ajay in being tested um, by Kimberly Shipke, who's Centre for Biofield Sciences. She was the lead investigator in this investigation, Kundalini. So I sent RJ, as one of my friends and teachers, I sent him to, because I couldn't get there. This is in January 2015. I sent RJ to be with Thornton. There's Thornton there, Dr. Thornton Streeter. Kimberly's the lead researcher for this project. That was a 4-day event. So now we're talking about Surya Kriya technique that RJ taught me, which is a very easy but very profound Kriya, right? So I've got the whole technique in here. Okay, this is one that was actually transmitted to me, Enki Kriya. So Enki taught me over a period of 2 nights in 2017. And it was also spoken about Enki. I spoke to Enki actually via Jim Charles, who's a channeler, in 2020. So Enki in Sumerian or Anunnaki history, he was a scientist and god of the Anunnaki. And this is all about Enki Kriya. This is really amazing. So what I'm talking about here, I'll just push that down to the next page. I'm just going to have to duck into the next room for a second. I'll leave you on this page, very important, right? So this is something really important. I'll be back in a sec. All right, thank you. I hope it wasn't too long. So this has been going quite a while. So I'll try to skip through this pretty quickly. It's been already going 1 hour, 23 minutes. This is about Babaji's Kriya, awakening of the letters. So I hope some of my Kriya Yogi friends or even gurus look at this one. So this is what Babaji told me was the Kriya of liberation, as well as naming it. Babaji's Kriya, awakening of the letters. He told me it was the Kriya of liberation. And it's a very advanced Kriya. And this can only be taught once you've done the foundation practices in pranayama. Okay, so I'm calling this a level 4 initiation. I'll teach this, but I won't teach this to beginners. They've got to learn pranayama first to a certain standard. And Shai Bindu Lahiri, who's my guru, he would understand why. So I'm doing that. I'm making sure everyone's learning pranayama before I teach this properly. So this is a photo up in Badrinath I took when I was up there, looking up the valley from Badrinath, land of Babaji. This is where Babaji went to the Badrinath and perfected Kriya Yoga nearly 2,000 years ago. So if you read back through the history, I was doing it the other week. I think Babaji was born in 203 or something like that. So, it's nearly 2,000 years ago, or very close, a long time ago, over a millennia. So here we are that's me there at Badrinath Temple. That's my friend Aaron at Badrinath Temple. A really beautiful temple there. Beautiful. And here we are also up at Badrinath. And this is the really steep mountains on the way up to Manor Village. Just through this gorge here. Go around here. This is Manor, the last Indian village before Tibet. There's a little village there, but this is about 5 kilometers up from Badrinath, higher up towards the Tibetan border. Really beautiful up there. So we're watching a beautiful sunset up there. So chapter 14, so I'm talking about Babaji's Kriya, Awakening of the Letters. And I've actually only shown this to one of my friends, Bina, who came to visit last year, just briefly. So this is the actual technique. I'm skipping through it because, it's an advanced Kriya. So you won't be trying to practice it, unless you've actually very experienced in pranayama. So that's what I've written there. Babaji told me that this is the Kriya of liberation and this is the awakening of the letters. So the mantras in Sahasrara, so we're dealing with Sushumna, Muladhara and Sahasrara mainly. So I'm talking about the letters here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is the mantra. There's the mantras. There's the location inside Sahasrara, the mantras, and how to try to visualize them, and the breathing. It's quite detailed. I've written in here. So I've written up here, Babaji's Kriya of the letters that I'm referring to here for the very first time is a further expansion of Babaji's own teachings of the Omkar Kriyas, higher Kriyas, which Maha Avatar Babaji taught to the Hirimase. So what am I talking about here? So I'm talking about the Indian Vamana Shastras. What have I got written here? Oh, this might be interesting to some of you scientific people. It is interesting. If interested readers happen to study the Indian Vamana Shastras, as their flying craft, like flying saucers in India, you will see that the ancient rishis documented that the rotation of a certain liquid mercury in their Vamana flying machines caused a magnetic field and levitation. Liquid mercury is not rotating in your brain in this Kriya, but something else is, all right? So something else is. So the prana follows the mind. So the mind's moving in this Kriya. Prana is recruited and follows the mind. when you've got it under control. So I've also written here, I'm probably the first to reveal this link between Babaji's Kriya of the letters and Vimanas, and also that the riddle of gravity, or should I say anti-gravity, can be solved by rotation in Sahasrara portal, the portal of Sushumna Nadi. Is it not a personal stargate? So I mentioned that before. Stargate in Sahasrara. Astral levitation happens when Kundalini wakes up. Mentioned that before. What have I said here? This is ancient, advanced spiritual technology. I've written here, it could be that these Kriya Yoga techniques are the algorithm for cosmic consciousness. That's a beautiful picture that Satya Sai Baba materialized of Sri Krishna. Very interesting. And in the Bhagavad Gita, these verses are very interesting. Verse 54 to 66 for Kriya Yogis. Sat Chakra or Chakra Nirupana. So I've written about that. I've actually made some videos, or you can hear me reading the verses. This is verse 50 to 55. The mode of rousing Kundalini and the union of Kundalini. This is very important that I'm talking about yoga, because unless Kundalini wakes up, you're not going to receive these real downloads, right? And that part of the DNA, which I'm sure is activated. All right, so I'm reading about the guru-disciple relationship here. Swami Satsangi wrote, Swami Satyasangananda Saraswati, The Light on the Guru-Disciple Relationship. And there's some more information here in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. For a more authoritative summary on the Guru-Disciple relationship from the Tibetan Buddhism tradition by W.Y. Evans Wentz. So I spoke. He wrote the foreword, or the preface for Autobiography of a Yogi from Paramahansa Yogananda's bestseller, Autobiography of a Yogi. So this is my Purna Sannyas Diksha from coming up 30 years next year, 19th of April next year. Code of a Sannyasin. What we try to be. Purna Sannyasin Diksha Patra. These are from my own memories. What Swami Niranjan gave me to remember what Sankalpas. Very important. Very important Sankalpas. It's 1995 photo was my guru, Swami Niranjan. Graduation day, December 31st it was, in 1995. That's at my initiation in 1993 with Shai Bindu Lahiri, my Kriya Yoga guru, Shai Bindu. And that's what this book's about, Kriya Yoga. Methods of Spiritual Transmission, Chapter 16. Your little self becomes, for the time, dissolved or merged into the Supreme Self. So we're talking about, I don't want to read anymore because we've been going for a long time, hour and a half. There is really no real method, but it just happens. You get plugged in, then transmission occurs in an instant. This is what happens. might read this little bit here. What you're about to read now is my experience only, but many people may have attained similar spiritual realization that they have also attempted to put into words. Once you are connected to the Guru in the astral, anything is possible. In actual fact, words for the absolute are part of the delusion, because when at the will of the Guru or God, the final veil is removed, there is only Ananda, the total universal awareness. The Anandamaya Kosha is the final dimension where your awareness of Atman just becomes joined to the Paramatma, Parabrahma. Your little self becomes, for the time, dissolved. So we're talking about Laya today in this video. Dissolved or merged into the Supreme Self. This experience is the absolute transmission of truth, and it does not happen in the absence of the Guru in the astral. So first the form of the Guru in the astral, then the dissolution into the causal. There is no real method, but it just happens. You get plugged in, then transmission occurs in an instant. So those people that are seeking for formulas or any advanced yogas, you can learn it by transmission from the Guru. If you're capable, right? And Guru has to be capable, student, disciple has to be capable. The only hint I can give is contemplate the meaning of the Sankalpa, the spiritual resolve that my Guru Dev, Swami Satchidananda, gave me when I first met him and surrendered myself to him. I have written about it on page 5. Mona Murti, you can continue to practice Kriya Yoga if you wish. And that's the title of this book. As it is better than not practicing any sadhana at all. But the most important thing for you to do is just be innocent. So innocent, that's been my Sankalpa from that day. I don't really have to practice Kriya Yoga, just be innocent. So, but I've written a book on Kriya Yoga, so I must know something about it. My gurus have helped me a lot. I've contemplated what Swamiji told me over and over for more than 30 years now. And what that word innocence appears over and over like a newborn baby, that innocence. This is how it is possible for you to meet with your guru in the astral, like I did before I physically met Swamiji 2 years before, and received spiritual transmission or real Shaktipat transmission. It is so much more powerful when you are above the physical body in the astral, when you are out of ego consciousness. So the ego is gone when you're in the astral. Well, you'll learn from the Guru in the astral. That's where real lessons are learned. There you stand before your Guru, your spiritually realized master, and look into the eyes of the Guru only. Your questioning lower mind and all of its idiosyncrasies and internal monologue is switched off. And then the Guru can transmit spirit to spirit. Anything can be transmitted, but it is the will of the Guru and not the disciple that decides what you're capable of holding. That's my words, anyway. The current of the Guru enters the disciple and awakening occurs instantly. My first very powerful occurrence of this phenomena occurred in July 86, 2 years before I met my Guru, Swami Satchidananda, at his ashram in India. But I will not speak about it here. I will only briefly mention the next powerful occurrence. Okay, I'm not going to get into any more of this. It's Kriya Yoga. Learning sadhanas from Guruji. Oh, I might mention this, what Swami Satchidananda said. Swamiji said, my guru, Swami Satchidananda, one of the greatest gurus of the last 100 or more years in India, few sadhanas I have snatched from my guru. Some practices we were never taught by Guruji, but he used to do his sadhana in his kutia. Swami Shivananda used to do his sadhana in his kutia, and I used to practice my sadhana in my kutia, Swami Satchidananda and Swami Shivananda, separately. I learned his secret sadhana by being one with him. Guruji knew everything, Swami Shivananda. If he did not want to part with secret knowledge, he would not let my connection meet his. Maybe with his inspiration, I could be one with him, or he must have joined the current with his energy of medium. Just as the sadhana of disciple is deep, he moves nearer towards his guru. The guru and disciple are two physically, but their soul is one. In this day and age, there are few authentic gurus. So we see many gurus on TV and YouTube. In this day and age, there are few authentic gurus and disciples. Swamiji used to say you can count them on one hand. Swamiji started a great mission. So Swami Satchidananda is talking about Swami Shivananda, Divine Life Society. Swamiji started a great mission with peace, and then he left. But see, I have had to run around here and there. So Swamiji was very busy, 20 years, rolling out his mission, which he did until he left. BR School of Yoga. Okay, channel messages. You won't see this anywhere else. These are my channel messages with Babaji. 45 minutes. I said in the last video, look into channeling and the brainwaves, gamma. So this is still Babaji. Pretty amazing. I was really blown out for years. I was blown out for 3 years before I even spoke about this. And then I wrote it into my book on Kriya. Enki, who also taught me a Kriya technique, Enki Kriya, right? Kriya. And I found out I had a past life with Enki as a scientist. So that's pretty fascinating. A scientist working with Enki. So that's interesting. And I've had some, maybe that's my curiosity coming back into my conscious mind from my unconscious. Enki. And also Tolskaha, who is a Pleiadian alien, Pleiadian king. Tolskaha was saying, I've got a connection with Pleiadians. And here we are down here talking about Nikola Tesla. So I've had a few messages from Nikola Tesla. And anyway, there's some messages there that I'm going to share. So I'm also writing down here, check out the Extraterrestrial Starseed Genetics Research Project, the XG1 project, which is a groundbreaking scientific research project which was launched in June 2024 by my friend, Dr. Max Rempel, PhD, who's a genome research scientist. Brilliant doctor. Subrata, Aaron, myself, Dr. Tripathi and Banerjee. Sadly, my two friends there have passed away. And I did a video, that's Subrata talking there. He's a physicist as well. He's talking there. He's the lead scientist in this Kundalini Research Project, or Babaji's Kundalini Research Project, in my opinion. So this is just some bio data about me and some of my experiences, not experiences, but major milestones. And a couple of videos here. Who inspired me? What yogis via yoga? Part 1, Part 2, 68 to 88, 88 to 23, Part 2. Sadhanas. These are the sadhanas of the great tantric Kriya Yoga. 6 of them in there. Mode of learning the Kriyas. So you see the blue bit down the bottom? Dhyana. So first of all, you start off with the Pratyahara Kriyas in red. Right? Then after about, day 10, you start learning the Dharana Kriyas. And then finally, day 21, you're doing, this is the amount of time you're practicing, about 5 hours a day. So you start off with learning the first Kriya, first and second, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the way you build up slowly. In Swami Janakananda's ashram, this is how you're meant to learn Kriya Yoga, Tantric Kriya Yoga. And this is how I was supposed to be teaching from the 22nd of July. But if it wasn't for those clowns that stuffed up my website, which I'm escalating now, but anyway, link to download Sanskrit Dictionary of Spirituality by my great friend Octavian Salvatore. He's a great friend, and you can download his free dictionary. He's a Sanskrit scholar, brilliant scholar. And this is about Satyam Yoga. What is Satyam Yoga? Advanced Astrophysics. I started writing this about a year ago because I hadn't published it. Started to update it, calling it Advanced Astrophysics. Well, now I've got the whole thing. I'm going to add this in here before I publish it. So the final 11 pages that I published up in academia will be in this book as well. All right. The above yogic science formula is from Avatar Babaji and was received via transmission. And I've also got some info there about what Swami Satyananda told me, some very important things about the first 5 Kriyas. The ion drive propulsion system is activated. In the following Kriyas after Mahabeda Mudra, the plasma drive propulsion system. So I'm talking about that in that video where I dropped all the information a year ago when I came back onto YouTube, 3rd of July 2023. If you want to know about that, go and watch those, or that video. You'll learn all about that. The original initiation sequence. So for Kriya Yogis, this is what separates the 3 bodies, namely the physical, astral, causal. The Sahasrara chakra is also the stargate portal to the multi-dimensional body and is awakened by a Kriya Yoga technique that I was initiated astrally by Babaji in 2018. Babaji called it Kriya Awakening of the Letters. So that's it. Dave Little, Swami Manamudi Saraswati, Mid-North Coast, New South Wales, Foster, Tuncurry, Mid-North Coast, New South Wales. That's me. Here's all my references, right? So I've referenced the book really well as my first book, which is a lot more references, so people can do their research, right? So you can follow and research. Okay, so I'm going to take that off share. I've been talking for long enough. So I'll just take that off. Probably many people have tuned out, but I wanted to Right. So maybe advanced astral physics. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more formulas come into my mind over the coming years while I'm still around, and I'll get more downloads, notably, and there's info coming in all the time. So I'll write about them and talk about them and from time to time. But this will probably be my last YouTube or Facebook live stream for a while. I'll be heading over to Himalayas next year, and probably when I get back, April, I'll start doing some teaching in a low key, just a teacher. Right? I don't want to be anything. So at my age, I don't want to be creating an institution, right? I'm 67. I don't want to be creating institutions or becoming a big guru or whatever. You know, I've had a lot of things dangled in front of me lately, but I'm not interested. Sorry. This is all I'm interested in doing, Satyam Yoga from Foster via the internet and maybe a couple of other things. So I'll finish that talk now. So I've been going for 1 hour and 51 minutes. Just wanted to do this little talk. It's up on academia.edu and probably be in a few other places very soon. And like I said, I'm no scientist, but those scientists from the astral I should say I'm not a scientist in this life, but those past lives that people have had, maybe they're not aware of yet, but I'm aware of many of mine. They're hiding in a part of your brain or your DNA that's not been awakened, but in many people that's starting to wake up, and that part of the DNA is not the part where the 5% which is being analysed by everyone. It's in that other section of the DNA which people call junk, but it's not really junk. This is where all the information is. Past lives on terrestrial and extraterrestrial, on this planet and any other planet, and also information on the chakras, all those gifts via the chakras, that when the brain lights up, starts lighting up, well, it's obviously the DNA's lighting up as well. So there's a lot of gifts there. Kundalini especially. So not just the chakras, Sushumna and Kundalini. So talk to a Kriya yogi, talk to a lay yogi. Okay, that's all I wanted to do and speak about today, and hope you enjoyed a bit of a fusion between science and yogic science today. That's what it's been. Mainstream science has to work eventually if we're to help people understand yoga better. Mainstream science has to work more with yogic science, and these downloads will continue, and that's all I wanted to say for today. So goodbye, have a nice day, and be blessed.